So D-Day, for each and every one of us, it means something special. Whether you had a relative, whether it was your dad or your grandfather, or that neighbor, that special neighbor next door, or that teacher that you may have had in school, that reminds you how important it is that we commemorate these milestones in American history, particularly in times like these. And my personal story, I've told many times, was December 27th of 2012, when my son and I, in a very spur-of-the-moment action, rented a car out of Paris, France, and drove 3.5 hours to Normandy to see the beaches and to walk them together as a mom and a son. And I can tell you today, it's one of the moments that both of us will cherish forever, not only as a mom and son, but as Americans. It was a very, very empowering opportunity as an American to stand there on those shores and imagine what happened there and why it happened. And then to go to the American cemetery with just 15 minutes left before they lowered the colors so that we could be part of that beautiful ceremony. And to see across the field of graves, as Rabbi Hammerman so noted, both Christian and Jewish markers there, was really amazing. But the best part was to stand there as we were listening to taps and watching the colors being lowered, to see an American Marine standing in salute, to know that the world really is free because of the service and sacrifice of this country. And so I'd like to just thank everyone for coming, and to note that not only are we commemorating D-Day, but we're commemorating the opening of this beautiful chapel known as the Whipple Feely Chapel, which has been a project on the books in this county for a very long time. And so it's my honor as the county executive to welcome and to celebrate and to honor all of those who are here today, who have served our country, and those who continue to serve in making sure that beautiful historic monuments like these are erected and preserved specifically for our veterans and their families. This is for you. This was designed and built with the intention to thank you all for your service. So with that, I'd like to ask my good friend Mario if he'd like to come up and say a few words about his experience in the European theater during World War II. One of the greatest generation.
To speak about, I know about this when I read it. I'm supposed to talk about something, but today was the invasion of Europe. And the whole thing is, I was honored we went through Le Havre. So we didn't see anything as far as like Omaha Beach or anything like that. And so we kind of went around a little bit. But other than that, we, let's see, at the age of 18, that's when we got drafted. And we had something like 8 weeks of training, or so-called, and we shipped overseas on Queen Mary, 5 days. I would say within 8 to 10 weeks, we were in combat. We went through France, we went through Alsace-Lorraine, and we finally hit Germany. Well, when we found out what it looked like, we kind of had doubts because we hit the Siegfried line. And that's all full of dragon teeth, barbed wire, bunkers, and so forth and so on. So, when you see that and they say, we gotta wipe those out. Well, We did. We lost a lot of guys, but we did. And we broke through. One day I was on a patrol, and we had 6 guys, and the Germans had a patrol, but they had reinforcements. So we wound up with 3 of us left, and out of that I wound up as a POW. There ain't much to say about it. I was only 6 months, and that was about it. I don't know what else to say.
It was his birthday, correct?
Wow.
It was your birthday, the day you were picked up.
Oh.
And marched for 6 months with 2 of his buddies who are still alive today, who he still keeps in touch with. And between the 3 of them, we have 3 small blankets, and they'd sleep at night as they were being marched to the countryside. One blanket would be laid on the ground, 1 blanket would tent them, and 1 would cover them. And they'd eat anything that they could, bark, anything that they could find. And for 6 months, they were marched alongside other Allied forces. And one day, Mario says they woke up and they were walking, and it was very, very quiet. And they didn't see any of the dogs, and they didn't see any Germans. They were gone. And before he knew it, they felt the ground rumble. And down the road came the tanks of his own very own division to liberate them. You know how long it took me to get that out of him? It took an 18-hour trip to Washington, D.C. to get that little bit out of him. So at this point, I'd like to turn the program back over to County Executive Paul Eldridge. Thank you.
Thank you very much.